This video brought to you by EquestrianCoach.com, the world's leading online video training site for equestrians.
Winning the McClay was something that was very exciting to me and really topped off my junior career nicely. I'd like to talk about my rounds of the McClay finals and show you my rounds and how they all played out. So for my second round here, I started right out of the gate on the left lead to a nice bold distance to the oxer and did a flowing bend up to the vertical there. I continued around the turn to a pretty forward oxer to oxer 5 stride, and here's when I fit in my required hand gallop for this round. I tried to get it going really forward in the corner so I could settle back at the jump. I chose that one specifically because it had a nice big ground line with the brush. I then put in a little bit of technical stuff here where I did some tighter rollbacks, showed that I could go from an extended stride to a collected stride. And after that, I had the required trot jump where I tried to stay really patient, wait for my horse, and then I just tried to keep it cool to the last one. And I finished abruptly with the walk so that I could show my handiness in that round. The work-off was without stirrups, and it started off the right lead in the 4-stride bend to the ASPCA wall, which made me a little nervous because I was not as good on my right lead on Ivy. Same with the tight right back to the oxer, and a tight back to the on the left to that other oxer, and that made the 5 strides get a little bit forward. And then here I collected him back up for another tight right turn, and again just tried to keep myself patient to the last jump and just find something nice that worked. It was a tough course without stirrups because it was so tight and handy, but it worked out really well for me and Ivy.
Do you dream of someday winning a big equitation finals like the medal or McClay? What does it take to achieve this high degree of proficiency? One thing it takes is discipline. I once heard Stephen Peters say, "The difference between dreams and achievement is discipline." Discipline to put in the long, hard hours of practicing perfectly the basics. Because practicing correct basics is what leads to the abilities one needs to win a championship. In this video, we highlight a few of the qualities that made this all-star cast of final winners victorious. Mastering these basics made these winners not only beautiful in attack, but effective as well. For many of you, the discipline of mastering these basics will not only lead to success in the equitation ring, but will be a stepping stone to the Grand Prix arena. Nothing exemplifies this more than observing a few of our previous equitation championship winners jumping Grand Prix courses and representing our United States equestrian team in beautiful American forward style. Let's now take a look at some of our recent equitation championship winners and discuss just a few of the qualities that made them winners. First impressions are so important. All these horses and riders are turned out beautifully, and take note of their correct positions as they circle. Correct lower legs, heel depth, and the proper placement of their foot in the stirrup. Their correct lower legs, balance in the stirrups, and deep heel anchors their legs and supports their upper body. Beautiful transitions to the canter from either the walk or trot, combined with establishing a forward pace right off the bat, makes a positive statement. All of their horses show a willingness to go forward, and the riders are in a correct forward seat in balance with the horse. All the horses here are nicely forward and in front of their riders' legs, enabling them to ride in general with the motion, balanced in the stirrups, and in a light seat or a half seat. Of course, we use all seats on course where they apply. Traurig rides the first 2 jumps of a line in the next oxer with her beautiful half seat, which she is quite comfortable with for the moment. She sinks, keyword sinks, around the short turn to the triple bar, which is appropriate, and being closer to the saddle in the light seat makes her stronger with her legs for the triple bar off the turn if needed. Hunter, coming off the turn, is a little closer to the saddle with her upper body still forward. We call that the light seat. Around the next turn, Hunter settles into a full seat due to the sharpness of the turn and the forward distance to the oxer off the short turn. To the first 2 jumps, TJ is in a half seat. Then he sinks down around the end to a light seat, and ultimately a full seat off the sharp turn to the oxer. All these riders demonstrate a hip angle at the takeoff that is slightly closed, inclining the upper body forward enough to be with the horse, not behind the horse, having to catch up or being left behind. The hip angle may change on approach to the jump in relation to the circumstances, but no matter what, they all show how slowly and softly the upper body inclines slightly forward during the completion of the last stride before the takeoff, a phase of the jump I call the load. It's interesting to see how the light seat and depth of their heel at the takeoff and landing influence the jump. A deep heel makes for a long calf. A long calf, being stronger than a short calf, makes for a more solid position in the air. Landing in your heel, supporting your upper body rather than the neck, makes for a secure position ready to answer the questions of a technical line. Today's courses demand security in the tack upon landing. Toppling over one's knee is a major fault, and developing the skill all these riders possess is essential. Today's complicated courses really demand connection with the mouth. The technical lines, both forward and especially short, along with acute track changes, necessitate consistent contact with the mouth. All of these riders demonstrate independence of their arms from their seat and their mastery of connection. Most use an elastic following arm or hand known as the automatic release. Some have a slightly broken angle of the arm, while Hunter's is classically correct in the sense that it's in a perfectly straight line. I think a slightly broken angle is perfectly acceptable as long as it's clearly not pressing on the neck for support of the upper body, as by definition that would be considered a crest release. Although the appearance of Zazu's arms with a higher angle gives one the impression of an impeccable short crest release, I find it difficult to find one fence where I could say she relies on the neck for balance. There can be a fine line sometimes identifying a release as automatic or short crest, and the difference lies in determining how much dependence the rider has on the neck for balance. Although the short crest release is acceptable at this level, the automatic release, so widely used over 4 decades ago, is making a comeback and just in time for the demands of today's courses. Influencing the landing lead is a practiced art. Artistic on the rider's part, and so practiced that the horses respond to nearly invisible aids, which of course is their goal. In the equitation ring, most of the time, the lead, depending on the track, will be produced by either a slight opening effect of the inside rein or the slightest direct pressure of the inside rein, both of course followed by an elastic release, be it automatic or short crest. Here TJ so beautifully uses a slight opening rein which influences the right lead and begins the turn on the landing phase which suits the course. This time, we see the nearly invisible direct feel of the left rein producing the left lead. As the course turns right, TJ uses a slight combination of both aids, direct and opening. Hunter's beautiful hands make the direct feel of the inside rein so soft and imperceptible that I call it a ring finger feel. This slight feel of the ring finger is always followed by her perfectly developed automatic release and has zero stiffening effect on the mouth or neck. Remember, these riders are artists with this feel, and for those less practiced and artistic, take great care as it can have an enormous stiffening effect on your horse's mouth and neck when done improperly. Leg and rein aids. The shape of the horse should match the grade of the turn with the entire length of its body. We have 2 legs and 2 hands, and they all play a part in the orchestra. The inside leg affects the body at the rib cage. The outside leg guards the haunch from escaping out. The outside rein guards the shoulder from escaping out. And the inside reins subtly flexes the neck and head of the horse toward the inside and can affect the shoulder toward the outside if used indirectly in front of the wither, especially toward the outside hand. Hunter demonstrates so well the use of all the above aids we discussed. She is not riding these turns only with diagonal aids or inside leg to outside rein, but subtly combining the wonderful effects of the indirect rein used correctly. Watch how her subtle use of the indirect rein toward the outside hand helps manage the shoulders of this horse while controlling her track to this trot fence. I love both Michaela's and Zazu's expressive hand gallops to the perfect, slightly closed distance. In the counter-canter portion of the test, TJ lands on the inside lead and does a beautiful flying change to the counter lead. He then changes the formula and asks the horse to land on the counter lead over the trot fence and holds it to the last jump. Hunter asks for the counter lead over the end jump, a difficult task, and holds it. At the trot jump, she lands on the left lead and asks for a beautiful flying change. Let's watch Hunter's winning round in its entirety. The qualities we spoke about are all exemplified here, plus. For rhythm, pace, track, eyes, forward seat, execution of distances, and the bonus of her perfect automatic release all added up to her championship McClay win. The following are a handful of past and current equitation championship winners who had and currently have great success in the Grand Prix arena and kept their beautiful style.